Imagine it's about 2.6 million years ago in Africa. You are a member of a group of early humans who have just discovered that stones can be chipped into sharp tools. This discovery changes everything. Your life is about to get easier, and your survival chances are about to increase significantly. But how exactly did our ancestors discover this? How did they invent the stone tool? And what was the impact of these inventions on human history? Let's find out. Humans and other primates alike spend a lot of time eating. After all, we need food to survive. However, our primate brethren don't make their food gathering as complicated as we do. Most of them simply eat fruits and plants, which require little preparation. Some primates even use sticks to fish for termites, but most definitely don't employ tools made of stone or any other material. Why don't they? Well, it has to do with intelligence, specifically the lack thereof. See, our closest living relatives, chimpanzees and bonobos, have very small brains compared to ours. They also possess much weaker grip strength than us. As a result, they lack the dexterity needed to use crude tools such as stones. Humans, on the other hand, have both a bigger brain capacity and stronger grips than great apes. The combination of the two allows us to employ simple tools such as hammers and anvils, which were probably invented somewhere around 2.6 million years ago. How did they make these tools? Well, very simply by picking up two stones and hitting them against each other. At first, these would have been very primitive tools, but over time, early humans learned how to strike stones more accurately and efficiently, resulting in sharper and more durable cutting edges. It's thought that at first they used these rudimentary tools to cut meat after a successful hunt. Eventually, however, they started carrying these tools with them while foraging for plants. This innovation allowed our ancestors to easily cut fibrous plants and tubers into smaller pieces, making them easier to eat. But how did they come up with this idea? There are two main theories. One is called the opportunistic or scavenging hypothesis, and the other is called the hunting hypothesis. The opportunistic hypothesis suggests that early humans didn't really invent stone tools for hunting, but rather they started making and using them to cut meat after scavenging carcasses left behind by predators. This is supported by the fact that carnivory and the use of stone tools seem to have appeared simultaneously in the fossil record. Moreover, experimental archaeology has shown that scavenging carcasses with stone tools is easier than hunting animals with them. Basically, if there's already a dead animal lying around, early humans could simply hack it apart and take the bits of meat without having to expend energy chasing it down or setting up an ambush. In fact, some researchers think that early hominins may have preferentially scavenged meat over hunting it because it required less effort. However, hunting is not always easy. Sometimes animals are quick and powerful, and catching them requires skill and technique. In those cases, early humans had to invent more sophisticated tools such as spears and bows and arrows. On the other hand, some researchers believe that the invention of stone tools came before the emergence of Homo erectus, a species known for its hunting skills. So they argue that early humans didn't develop stone tools for scavenging, but rather for hunting. Now, regardless of how exactly they came up with the idea of using stones as tools, what is certain is that this innovation had a tremendous impact on early humans. For one thing, stone tools made eating easier and more efficient, which meant that early humans could obtain the calories they needed to fuel their active lifestyle. Hunting and gathering also became easier and safer. This is because animals became easier to butcher and kill, but also because these tools could be used as weapons. It's unclear whether or not early humans actually used them as weapons right away. After all, a knife made of stone isn't particularly effective against a charging lion. However, as early humans continued to practice and improve their hunting techniques, stone weapons eventually became essential. Another advantage of stone tools is that they were durable and easy to manufacture. Early humans could carry them with them wherever they went and use them for a variety of tasks. Plus, when they broke, they could simply pick up another stone and start chipping away at it. In addition, this technology enabled social progress. Now this might sound strange, but hear me out. To make a spear, for example, it takes several steps and several people with different skill sets working together. That is, it requires division of labor. This enabled social groups to become more complex and eventually gave rise to new social structures. With new technology comes new opportunities. Speaking of which, now let's talk about a new opportunity for you. Now let's go back to the past. Over the next few million years, early humans refined their tool-making abilities and developed new and more sophisticated tools. One example is the Oldowan complex, which was used from about 2.6 million to 1.7 million years ago. It includes choppers, flakes, and knives. Choppers are one of the earliest types of stone tools. They have a sharp edge on one side and a blunt edge on the other. Early humans used them for a variety of tasks, including cutting, chopping, and scraping. They made them by striking a rock with a hammerstone until the desired shape was achieved. Flakes were also an important part of the Oldowan complex. They were thin pieces of rock that were struck off of a larger piece using a hammerstone. Flakes were used for a variety of tasks, including cutting, scraping, and piercing. Finally, there were knives. Knives were typically made from flakes and had a sharp edge that was used for cutting. However, by 1.7 million years ago, the Oldowan complex was replaced by the Acheulean complex. This new technology appeared in Africa and quickly spread throughout the Old World. The oldest site outside of Africa is in Ethiopia, where it appeared about 1.5 million years ago. In Europe, it first appeared in Spain about 1.2 million years ago, and soon after in England, France, and Germany. In Asia, it was used by Homo erectus about 500,000 years ago. The Acheulean complex included a variety of tools, including hand axes, cleavers, and picks. Hand axes were probably the most iconic tool of the Acheulean complex. They were teardrop-shaped tools that were used for a variety of tasks, including chopping, cutting, and digging. They were carefully crafted and required a significant amount of skill to manufacture. Cleavers were also an important part of the Acheulean complex. They were large, heavy tools that were used for chopping and butchery. Picks were used for digging and scraping. Overall, the Acheulean complex was a significant advancement over the Oldowan complex. It was more sophisticated and efficient and allowed early humans to adapt to a wider range of environments. The emergence of stone tools marks a turning point in human history. It's a clear sign of the cognitive abilities that set us apart from other animals. These simple tools allowed our ancestors to do things that were previously impossible, like hunt and gather more efficiently, eat a wider variety of foods, and travel into new territories. In short, stone tools were essential for the development and spread of humanity. But how exactly did we know that this technology hadn't appeared before? Well, essentially we only know about it thanks to the fossil record. Stone tools don't preserve well, so we haven't found many examples of them in the archaeological record. In fact, archaeologists have found very few sites that predate 2.6 million years ago. This is because older stone tools have either been destroyed or have not yet been discovered. So basically, we can't say for sure that humans didn't invent stone tools before this period. It's just that we haven't found evidence of it yet. Perhaps in a few years or decades, archaeologists will find stone tools that are millions of years older than the ones we know of today. When that happens, we'll have to rewrite history books. Until then, we can marvel at the ingenuity of our ancestors and the impact that stone tools had on the course of human history. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Also, thank you for watching and see you next time.